Hello, and welcome to the Great Game Debate podcast, where friends come together to talk about video games and our lives. I'll be your host, Kate Berthe Lane. My glasses are still broken, and as always, I'm joined by the father of the debate himself, Jonah Gomez. How you doing, buddy?
Well, I'm doing great, man. I'm on vacation.
All
My
right,
birthday's coming up. I just finished our game club game, so Halo's in the books. I'm ready to go, man. I'm super stoked to record.
Glad to hear it. We are also joined, as always, by our man in the closet, Wes Bates.
Back, baby. And you know what that means. You know what else is back? Some useless video game trivia. Today we're going to be talking, because I know you guys didn't get any on the last show, right? Because, I wasn't here.
Well, someone may have put it for you.
We're going to be talking about some Devil May Cry. So, Devil May Cry is known for its insane, stylish action. But did you know that the series' classic juggling combo, air juggling, was actually the result of a glitch originally? It was not originally supposed to be in the game, but it wasn't a glitch in Devil May Cry. It was actually the result of a glitch in Onimusha Warlords during the development of that game, where enemies would accidentally be knocked up into the air, which was not something that they intended. And after they found the glitch, they thought it was so cool that they wanted to include it in Devil May Cry, which previously, you may or may not know, was actually supposed to be Resident Evil 4.
Yay.
I did know that.
Incredible. Shout out to Onimusha. Please bring it back.
Shout out to
Happy
Onimusha.
accidents.
Exactly. Yeah. So
we are also joined by Stephen Beaumont, our man down in Australia. How you doing today, buddy?
Yeah, good, mate. I've just been reading some One Punch Man this week. It's been a lot of fun.
Ooh.
And I heard you've also been doing some reading, which is pretty cool. It's actually a book that I've got on my bedside table, but I can't literally read it because it's just the words are too small.
Sure.
Fair enough. For anyone wondering, what have you been reading, Kate?
Oh, I've been reading the Stormlight Archive by Brandon Sanderson, which has now become my favorite fantasy series of all time. But enough about me. It's our distinct honor this week of being joined by Mitchell Saltzman of IGN. How you doing, buddy?
yay!
Doing good, man. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Yeah, it's our pleasure to have you on. We know you're a busy man.
Welcome.
Thanks for taking the time to join us. So we'll just get right into it, guys. I hope you found a hell portal on the surface of Mars to go get the wait, I forgot what the iceberg was. I was thinking about Doom, you guys. What I meant to say was, I hope you took an airplane out to Malay Island and picked up Force Edge, because it's time for the icebreaker. You can tell what I've got on my mind.
Yeah, first try.
Yeah, exactly. So for those
We're off
who
to
may
a great
not,
start.
Mitchell, for those who may not know you, I believe you're an editorial producer for IGN, correct?
Correct.
That sounds like a fun but probably stressful and large responsibility job. It would be kind of cool maybe if you wanted to give us a little rundown of kind of what your responsibilities are.
For sure. So my title is editorial producer, but ultimately I am part of what's known as the gameplay team at IGN. So I'm one of maybe 4 or 5 people that typically gets called on to post up straight up gameplay videos for all the new releases. So we do a thing called first minutes of a game, where we just throw up wholesale the first minutes of a game. We do all kinds of boss battle videos. For Elden Ring, I did a boss battle video against this is the closed test of Elden Ring, not the actual Elden Ring that has not come out yet. I do not have access to that game yet, just to be clear. Yeah, we did a boss battle video for that. All kinds of just straight up gameplay videos that can kind of live on their own without any kind of editorial content or editorial component to them.
Sure.
But then also sometimes the games are a little slow to come out. So that's where I kind of try to do other things where I do reviews, I do previews, I do top 10 lists, I do, all kinds of other editorial related things. And that's kind of, the general overview of my job. I have my hands in a lot of different, pots.
That's cool.
Very cool. Very cool. I was going back today before the show, just checking out some of your more recent reviews, like Nobody Saves the World, and went back and checked out your Demon Souls review. And I know Wes in Casual Conversation refers to you as the best reviewer at IGN. So great job with those reviews. That's awesome work.
That's my opinion. I have a very high opinion of your skills as a reviewer. I think you do a great job.
Thank you. That's incredibly humbling to hear.
Do any of you guys have any particular questions about the IGN side of things before we move on from that?
Definitely. I haven't. I don't think I articulated this in my mind because it changed mid conversation. But it's really interesting because obviously we're in the nerd space and the gaming space, but like we think of IGN as like being the most synonymous with gaming, like as an outlet, as a media outlet. Are there still people in like your extended family, like at Christmas reunions and stuff like that? Like if you say IGN, it's still like what's that? Like, do you still get that, or is IGN known now?
No one knows who IGN. No one knows what IGN is.
Oh, really?
It's
wow.
It's the most interesting thing, and like what's really interesting. Before I worked at IGN, I worked at a site called Gamefront, which was a very small site, but I was more of a personality there. I was one of 3 people that was always on every YouTube video. We did like Dark Souls walkthroughs. We did news updates videos. We did E3 coverage. And I got recognized more for my work at Gamefront, which had, at its peak popularity, maybe like 15, 20,000 subscribers than I ever have at IGN.
Oh, that's weird.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
And every time, I have to describe like, what I do, I'm like, oh, and I'm an editorial producer at IGN, and just no reaction.
Nothing,
Just, like, move right on. It is amazing how like, how big IGN is within this pocket of the gaming industry, but outside of that, it's nothing. People don't know what it is.
Yeah, you always hear that joke from people in games journalism where they tell people at family gatherings or whatever, and they're like grandparents or whatever, like, so you make video games, right?
Exactly.
No,
exactly.
I don't make. Yeah. Ridiculous.
My parents still think I make video games.
Right.
Oh, so you just sit around and play video games for a living, right?
Yeah, that too.
When are you gonna get a real job?
Fortunately, I've never gotten that.
Oh, that's good.
That's good.
Yeah,
thankfully.
Did Wes or John, you guys have any questions about IGN before we move on to the next thing?
I don't think I've got any questions about IGN per se, but go ahead, Wes.
I did have a question because I think I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you got started working there in the guides. I remember you doing guides. Is that right?
Yeah. So not at IGN. I got my start in the industry, really doing guides.
Okay. Maybe I was mistaken there.
Yeah, I got my start doing guides for a website called Mahalo.com, which was almost like a Yahoo Answers kind of thing. We basically did walkthroughs in a style of like, step by step, here's how you beat blah 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 blah. And then from that, my boss at Mahalo left there and became the editor-in-chief at Gamefront. And I was still in college while I was doing all this, and so he wanted to bring me on to Gamefront, but I'm like, I'm still in college. I'm literally about to graduate. So he was kind enough to be like, okay, I'll wait for you to graduate, and then I'll pluck you over. And I literally had a job right out of graduation, which was super nice.
That's
awesome.
Cool.
Yeah,
that's the way to get started.
What did you study? You were in.
I studied communications with an emphasis on journalism.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Cool.
So
legit.
So yeah, I definitely had like my trajectory. I always wanted to, be in this field.
That's nice that you had a job lined up, because for a lot of people that it's not that simple to just like have something lined up when you graduate. So lucky you, man.
No,
That's awesome.
Very, very fortunate. I owe a lot to a lot of people and good timing.
There you go.
Sure. Yeah, it's hard work
Can
and luck,
you
right?
Yeah.
I just have one more question about IGN. It's like, can you give us some insight into kind of like, because there's a lot of content that flows through that site. Can you give us some insight, like with your, like work, like how crazy is it for you trying to keep up with everything that you have to, that, there's so many games coming out. There's so many things you guys are trying to cover. You said you're trying to, one of the main people that covers like gameplay, trying to
Mhm.
pull off gameplay and everything. Like, so how are your days? Like, what's your day like?
It really depends. There are slow times and there are definitely busy times. But a lot of my day is, we get a game, I play through it, I conjure up ideas for content. One of the things that people probably don't realize, I start over games a lot. Um, when I'm reviewing a game, I'll typically play through it and then I'll start it over, and then the second playthrough is when I'm recording for the video review.
Wow.
So typically when and I don't know if this is, I'm a unique reviewer when it comes to IGN because I do edit my own reviews. A lot of other reviewers kind of just record their footage and send it off to an editor. I It's just the way I've been built. I like to be hands on. I like to, I have a vision for how I want the video review to look, and so I fortunately I've been given the opportunity to edit my own reviews. So yeah, so that can be a lot. We also have a lot of meetings that we do for top 10 lists, for future content planning. But the really great thing about IGN is that they've got a lot of resources, right? It's the number one video game website out there. We have a lot of different people that we can assign stuff to. We have like a pool of freelancers that if things become overwhelming for us, we can like freelance stuff out. So yeah, it really depends on the month. It depends on how busy the games, or how many games are coming out within that month. And it can be super stressfully busy, or it can be pretty dang slow.
So you're
Um,
sweating February, basically.
Oh boy, February is gonna be. I made the joke on Twitter that I have delayed my birthday for Elden
Oh
Ring,
no.
and it was only half a joke. I might
Well, playing
actually
Elden
like.
Ring is not a bad way to spend your birthday, though. I imagine.
It's true. My friends would disagree, but
Talk just this is like we could pass on this one if you don't want to, but just talking on the walkthroughs, like this is going to go in a bunch of places, but it's going to come back to a central narrative. Talking about the walkthroughs
Here
and
we
like
go.
just how many walkthroughs IGN make and stuff. It's how do you find there's the vocal minority who is a bit of a toxic fan base that talks about, oh, game reviewers are terrible at games, but then if you look up like any wiki ever, the first thing that's going to pop up is an IGN wiki, which means that someone knows how to play that game at IGN. Does that, because we already discussed the microcosm of the gaming space anyway, do you have the perspective where you can just laugh off that toxicity, or does it like affect you?
yeah, I mean, you have to laugh it off. Of course, it does bother me because I put like a lot of effort into my gameplay videos to make sure that I don't have, I don't give them the ammunition that they so desperately desire to be able to.
You didn't open that chest. Why didn't you open that chest?
Like again, going back to the Elden Ring video that I did for that boss battle, I must have done that boss like, God, 100 times.
Wow.
Because I wanted to get that like one run where like people would not be able to say anything about how bad we were at Souls-like games, because I pride myself on being pretty good at them. And then you get the people that will complain regardless, but there is an element of it that you have to just kind of shrug off and laugh off. I wanted to do a thing where I would like challenge people in the comments to like who talked trash to play me at Smash Brothers. I actually put a comment. I'm like, hey, anyone who has a problem with my gameplay in this video, post your friend code. Let's have a match, and we'll post the results in this thread. No one bit.
Oh,
No,
Put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah.
There you go.
wow, that's awesome.
the old Final Destination Fox only no items.
Yeah, exactly.
Excellent.
That's funny, like about like being proud of like being pretty good at Souls. Like I'm proud of being like I play Souls like this boy. I'm very bad at
Gatsu.
Souls, but I just like keep struggling until I get there in the end.
Yeah.
And that's
Alright,
the
great
soul.
question,
That's the
Steve.
Souls experience. So
Mhm.
no shame there.
I
sure.
just want to say, Steven, I'm proud of you. I was very much expecting that to go on a long tangent, and you kept it under 3 minutes. Let's get a round of applause for Steven, guys. Woo!
Great job, Steven. Great job.
Slow clap.
So Mitchell, probably one of the most interesting factoids that Wes reported to us about your life is that I guess before you got into the whole game journalism thing, you pretty seriously were pursuing voice acting and like even had like some work in like One Punch Man. I'd love to hear more about that, whatever you wanted to share.
Yeah. So it
Please,
was actually. Yeah. So it was actually in the middle of my
Oh wow. Okay.
career of games journalism, because the thing is about pursuing a career in games journalism, until you get to that point where you're able to get like a 9 to 5 kind of job at like an IGN or a GameSpot or one of the other rare sites that pay you a salary. You do a lot of freelancing. You do a lot of trying to make ends meet by doing gig work, and so to additionally try to make ends meet, I try to do voice acting, and it's it was a ton of fun. I initially got turned on to it at an anime expo. Bang Zoom has a booth where they do a thing called open auditions for. They used to do this. They don't do this anymore. But they had open auditions where anyone at the convention could sign up. You wait in a long ass line, and then you basically do an audition for casting directors, and they deliberate, and then they come back and they give they choose basically like 8 or 10 people who they give a callback to, and I was fortunate enough to be one of the people that got a callback, and they brought me into their studio. I got to audition for Alibaba in Magi, if you're familiar with
Oh,
Magi.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, did not get it, obviously. Shout out to Eric Kimmer, who is a much better voice actor than I am. But through that, I was able to, tell myself, hey, maybe there were a lot of people that tried this, and I was like, top 8, like that says something, right?
Yeah.
And so I tried to hone that skill by getting classes. I got classes from Crispin Freeman, got classes from Tony Oliver, got classes from Richard Horvitz, got classes from David Fenoy. Yeah, so like I did the work.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Sure sounds like it.
Yeah, and over the course of that, I got invited to do Bang Zoom's they call it Walla. It's basically background voices. And through that, I got to be in shows like Toradora, Magi, One Punch Man, Kill la Kill, a couple of live action dubs that I'm sure you probably don't have. You have no idea what they are. And I ultimately had to put that dream but to the on a shelf, because man, voice acting is hard. Making a living doing voice acting is super hard. You have to
imagine,
everyone who is getting jobs, even though you still play games where like this voice acting is kind of weak, the actual pool of like working voice actors they're so talented. And like you're competing. There's no minor league for voice acting. As soon as you decide I want to be a voice actor, you're in there with the Erica Mendez's, the if you're a union actor, you're in there with Crispin Freeman, Steve Bloom, and you got to convince them that you are the one that they should hire over those other people.
Yeah,
it's very challenging. I unfortunately had to put it on a shelf when I got the opportunity to get a steady paycheck doing games journalism, but it's always going to be something that's like in the back of my head. that I hopefully one day we'll be able to come back to.
That's still pretty awesome.
Yeah,
though.
that's
I
so
mean,
sick.
What
dude.
a cool thing to be able to tell people.
Yeah.
Who generally speaking, like people that play games also watch a lot of anime, and
Yeah.
so what a cool thing to be able to tell people that you did, like in the community that you're in. Like, yeah, dude, if you listen to like episode 7 of One Punch Man, like there's a guy going, ah! That was me.
Yeah, could be me. I used to have a joke where I had a still frame of like there's one frame where you can see a guy falling down off the school in Kill la Kill, and I'm like, that's me. I made that screen.
That's awesome. All right, well, unless I forgot something and somebody's about to abruptly stop me, it's time for the debate. I will turn things over to Jonah Gomez, the judge of the debate.
I hope you guys are ready for a brutal debate, a bloody debate, something very intense. Because we have Mitchell versus Wes. Mitchell representing the rehash? What is this? Like the redo of Doom? And
the current iteration of Doom.
The current iteration of Doom, and Wes representing the current iteration of Wolfenstein. Who's ready?
Mein Lieben!
Ready.
This is about
Thanks,
to get
Optimus.
down, dirty, and brutal. We have an assist trophy today, which will be our host, Caden Barrett Lane. And you know what?
That's me.
I'm going to throw in a curveball. Steven, would you like to help me host this debate?
I can, but you know that I usually get taken.
Never mind, no tangents. Let's get right into it. Mitch, I will give you the option as our guest to choose if you'd like to start the debate or close it out.
Ooh. You know what? I'll start it. I'll start
Okay.
this debate.
Confidence.
For your opening thoughts, you've got 2 minutes on the clock. Ready, set, go.
All right. So I know we were gonna say that this is like the new iteration of Doom, but I think in order to look at where Doom headed, we have to look back and let's look at some numbers. 29 on IGN's top 100 games of all time list. Number 4 on Polygon's top 500 games of all time list. Number 2 on Games Radar's the top 50 best games of all time list. And I think those are some important things to look at. And it's not just about legacy, because Wolfenstein, of course, was the first ever first-person shooter. But I think it's an important statement to make because, Wolfenstein walked so that Doom could run. And I think that this relationship has held up all throughout gaming history. So let's talk about how Doom modernizes this classic first-person shooter formula. For one, it's the speed. In Doom, if you're standing still, you're dead. Plain and simple, you're dead. These are games where you're constantly moving, constantly picking up health vials, armor shards, jumping across insane hellish landscapes. You're not hiding behind walls, cowering in fear of a hailstorm of bullets. You're running up to a mancubus, ripping out its explosive core and shoving it inside its mouth. Okay? And you're doing all this with one of the best arsenal of weapons you'll ever find in a first-person shooter.
30 seconds.
Hands down, one of the best shotguns in video games, the Super Shotgun, the BFG, the chainsaw that can the chain gun that can turn into a stationary turret, and it's unbelievable the amount of violence you can commit with this arsenal of weapons that you have in Doom. And then finally, the one thing I want to end on is progression, because Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal, while they are different takes of the same formula, they have some of the best progression of power from the beginning to the end. You feel like a god in Doom Eternal.
Time. Oh,
Very impressive. Can we get the Doom retrospective from IGN by Mitchell Saltzman?
what an opening statement. Holy cow. How are you feeling, Wes? That was quite the doozy.
If this were an anime, you'd see a little trickle of sweat.
Well, Wes, it's time for you to push up your glasses, because let's get your opening statement started in 3, 2, 1, go.
All right. I think that the new current iteration of Doom is a great shooter. I'm not going to deny that. It's a great game. But I feel personally that the new Wolfenstein games are just better games on the whole, as far as first-person shooters are concerned. Number 1, best enemies, most killable enemies in video games. Nazis. Everybody hates Nazis. They're vile, despicable pieces of filth. And the whole point of this game is to purge them from the world. These games take place in an alternate timeline where the world was taken over. The Allies lost World War II. The main character is put into a coma for 10 plus years. And when he wakes up, it's a whole new world. The Nazis own the world. You have to take it back in the most bloody, violent way that you possibly can. Now, the action is just as visceral in Wolfenstein as it is in Doom. You've got a great arsenal there. You've got 3-barreled shotguns. You've got, gigantic lasers that you can melt enemies, turn them into puddles of ash and goo. But there's also more variety, because in Wolfenstein, you can play stealthy. Doom is fast action, but you can go guns blazing, or you can stealth your way through
30
Wolfenstein.
seconds.
Additionally, I would like to say that Wolfenstein has an insanely cool, epic storyline. From the time that you start in the New Order until the time that you end in the New Colossus, we're talking about like 20 plus years, and you're basically starting a rebellion to the point where you're basically ready to take the world back from the Nazis. And there's so many things to happen. There's so much. All right.
Fantastic, Wes.
And I really want to be an assist trophy in this one. I'm like, I've got so many salty things to say.
Hey, we can swap Steven for me as a assist trophy, because to be honest, I haven't really played these games that much, and I didn't realize Steven was so passionate over here.
Oh,
so.
well, no, it's just things that come into my head as people are talking. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, we can do it where you guys can pick which person you want to be your assist trophy. We do have both these lovely lads here.
A great one in favor of Doom if you want me as your assist.
All right.
I'm sure that Caden has a great one in favor of Doom too, because I know that he really loved Eternal.
All right,
Yes,
Mitchell.
True.
Nobody loves Wolfenstein but me.
You got 2 minutes on the
Oh,
clock.
actually, I've got a great one for
Oh my
Wolfenstein
god!
as well, so.
You got
Sorry, yeah.
you got 2 minutes on the clock. You still have your assist trophy if you want to use it. 2 minutes for your rebuttal. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right. Well, after that pitch, I got to tag in Steven for the assist. So let's hear what you got, Steven.
Okay, so obviously it is the year 2022. And I guess my biggest question to you, Wes, is video games, they've got to have a grappling hook. So does your game have a grappling hook?
It doesn't.
It doesn't. Oof. That's got to dock some points right there. I'm sorry, mate. That's all I got for today. I'll be out, but yeah, not looking great.
All right. Go ahead.
So you mentioned the best enemies to beat, which are the Nazis, and that's hard to disagree with. Of course, it's always amazing to just blow a Nazi's head up. But have you met the Cacodemons? Because Cacodemons, can I just talk about them? They're one of the most iconic video game enemies I think out there. I would say maybe top 10. And just the way that you defeat them in Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal, you throw a grenade in their mouth, and they just jump in there, you stick your knife up their mouth, it gets the eye out, and then you pull their eye out from their mouth. Oh my god. Do I need to go on? I don't even know. Do I need to go on? You mentioned also the variety, and sure, yeah, there are some stealth stealth sections in Wolfenstein. I would honestly argue, though, that those are probably the weaker elements of that game. I think Wolfenstein is at its best when you got the dual machine guns. You're just mowing down Nazis. You're running around picking up armor to replenish your lost health. And I think also there's an immense amount of variety in Doom Eternal, even though it's not in the stealth variety. But there is a ton of variety in terms of using your platforming skills to do violence. All kinds of different weapons. You have to juggle your weapons constantly. I think actually Doom Eternal has some of the best variety in a first-person shooter that I've played in recent memory. I think that's where I'll cut that right there.
Leaving about 10 seconds on the board. I love it. That's some real confidence. Wes, are you ready for your rebuttal?
Yeah, no offense, Caden, but I'm really curious to hear what Steven has to say about Wolfenstein.
Oh no!
So,
Okay.
So, Steven, I'm gonna let you open my rebuttal as well.
All right.
All right.
Steven, you got 30 seconds on the clock. Ready, set, go.
All right. So my biggest problem with online multiplayer games is just how ludicrous it is watching everyone run around the map, jumping and you're trying to shoot them, and it's just so stupid to play like Fortnite or Halo or Quake or any Unreal or any of those games. And what you're pretty much saying is the legacy of Doom is that Doom is to blame for this unrealistic expectation of movement in shooting video games.
Time.
And really, I'm not for it.
What a
All right. 2 minutes on the clock, Wes. Ready, set, go.
Okay, so here's my personal gripe with Doom. Honestly, I feel like the gameplay sometimes is a chore. It's just one gauntlet of enemies after the next, one wave after the next, just more and more demons spawning in, popping in, fast frantic action the whole time. The pacing in Doom really, really suffers because it's just throwing enemies at you constantly. That's what the game is. There's very little in between. And they tried to shoehorn, some platforming and some other things like into Eternal. And honestly, it was just bad. It's really, really bad. Like, it controlled really awfully. Maybe it was better on PC, but I had a really bad time playing that game with those platforming sections. I really did not enjoy it, and it just kind of wore me down after a while. I feel like Eternal, I'm talking specifically about Eternal here, I feel like the gameplay actually was a step down in a lot of ways from Doom 2016. In 2016, all of your weapons were effective. You could use any weapon that you like to take enemies down. But in Eternal, you have to use specific weapons against specific enemies to efficiently take them down. I know they're trying to push you to use your arsenal, but I don't like using all of those weapons. Some of the weapons I feel like really weren't very fun to use. They even give you tutorials to say, this is how you kill this enemy. You have to use this weapon. This is if you want to take them down efficiently. This is what you have to do. The other kind of cons I have against Doom, the story is pretty lax. You got to save the world from hell. Okay, but there's not a lot else there. They tried to build up lore, but it's basically just reading, off of a codex. And that was really, really boring. And I also felt the levels are really linear and bland compared to Wolfenstein. It's mostly lava and brimstone. You go to hell. There's a few catacombs along the way. About it.
Look at the heat.
Yeah, Wes really did bring the heat on that rebuttal. All right.
I'm like, was Doom Eternal a 10 out of 10? Ugh.
All right, Mitch. Last round. You got 2 minutes on the clock for your closing thoughts. 3, 2, 1, go.
I would like to close on a quote from someone who I believe is well respected around these parts. It's one Ben Moore from Easy Allies, where he says, Doom Eternal is essentially unbridled fury the game. And that is about the most succinct and appropriate quote for Doom Eternal that I can really think of. A lot of the things that Wes mentioned as a negative, honestly, that speaks to me as a person who loves fast, frantic, frenetic gameplay styles where you're by the end of the combat encounter you're sweating because you just barely made it through by the skin of your teeth. I also don't think that Doom Eternal's level design is it goes a lot of different places. Even though it is a lot of fire and brimstone, the vistas of Doom Eternal are incredible. It is one of the best depictions of hell I've ever seen. It's horrifying, it's gruesome, but also kind of like wondrous and mysterious in a way. And yeah, let's just call them out. The Marauders are what specifically are what Wes is talking about. You do have to use specific weapons to kill them, but the way that you utilize those weapons by quick swapping them to quickly take them down is one of the most satisfying feelings of that game. To be able to quickly go from the super shotgun to the railgun to the super shotgun and take them out before they even get a chance to bring their shield in front of their face. There's a reward that you get for figuring stuff out in Doom Eternal that you just don't get in a lot of first-person shooters. And it's that sense of reward, that sense of challenge, that sense of reward and challenge that just makes Doom Eternal and Doom 2016 fantastic.
Very nice.
Very nice. All right. There's a lot of passion in this debate. All right, Wes, you got 2 minutes on the clock. Are you ready for your closing thoughts?
Let's do it.
3, 2, 1, debate.
Okay, I spent a lot of time talking about the things that I didn't like about Doom and Doom Eternal. Those are the exact same things that I really like so much more in Wolfenstein. Let's talk about the story and the locations really quickly. I mentioned before that you're basically raising a rebellion against the Reich and taking the world back. During the time where you basically go from a comatose goon, you have to infiltrate castles, there's plane crashes, you go to infiltrate, there's a prison break, you infiltrate concentration camps, you have to steal this high-tech nuclear submarine. Later on, you go through the submarine in a wheelchair shooting Nazis, which is crazy. You go to the moon, you go to Venus, you go to Area 51, you go to New York, you go to New Orleans. There's so much variation in the places that you go and the things that you do. And the story is just kind of batshit crazy. And the main character, William Blazkowicz, you know his motivation. You feel his motivation because you see his story. You see what his childhood is like in flashbacks. You see all the crap he has to go through against the Nazis. You see what they take from him. You see his pain. You see his motivation. Unfortunately, in Doom, I don't really know what Doom guy's motivation is. I mean, he's killing Hellspawn. Okay, I mean I guess you don't need a lot of motivation for that. But at least with Wolfenstein, you know what's going on. You know why this guy's doing what he's doing. Last thing I want to say is that I think Wolfenstein has one of the best villains in any video game ever. General Irene Engel, fantastic villain. You love to hate her and you just want nothing but to murder her face. You want to bury your hatchet in her face by the end of the new Colossus. It's fantastic. She is absolutely, hands down, one of the best villains in gaming, and they do a great job just with the overall presentation. It's great action, it's great story, it's a great shooter.
Wow,
all right.
Incredible debate, guys.
Holy cow.
Also, I just want to say, Doom Guy's motivations are pretty clear. Rip and tear until the job is done.
It's so hard not to say it. I wanted to interrupt.
All right. Well, I kind of have my mind made up on who I think is gonna take my point, but Caden, I want to hear your thoughts. Who do you think brought it to the table a little bit better?
Let me just begin with an anecdote here. This is I never played either of these series before Wolfenstein New Order and Doom 2016. And my experience with Wolfenstein was I was playing it at my friend's house, one of my best friend, Luke's. I think he rented the game, and we were playing through it together. His dad was watching because his dad's into shooters like Halo, Call of Duty, and stuff. Everybody's having a good time. And then there's a sex scene And then like, his family's like Christian and his dad like freaks out. It's okay to rip and tear Nazis, but oh, sexy. And then we had to take the game back to the store. Never touch the series again. And I need to go back. I mean, people speak so highly about New Colossus. But yeah, Wes makes some really compelling points. I'm trying to like resist my personal feelings on the debate and go by the arguments because everybody knows I love Doom 2016 Eternal so much, and but I think Wes really did present a really compelling argument about how the new Wolfenstein games are more of a holistic experience. Like even though Doom does what it does really, 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 really freaking well, there's a story and other types of experiences to have in the Wolfenstein games. So I think I'm gonna give it to Wes on this one.
All right.
Oh, thank you.
Steven, what are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, this is really interesting. Mitch absolutely brought the fire with every single
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
part that he spoke, especially like the emotion was just definitely there, and it was only probably at the end in the final closing statements when Wes really talked on the story more than anything about Wolfenstein. But the only problem was I would say is with his rebuttal, he said that the Doom story is lax. Like the only issue with that is it's not a narrative video game. It's like you don't ask Super Mario Odyssey to have a better story. It's a 10 out of 10 game because of the gameplay, and that's what Doom is analogous to Super Mario because it's gameplay first. And if it nails that, then it's amazing. And like for me personally, like I'd much prefer to watch a speed run of Doom than I would of Wolfenstein. So like that frenetic feeling of watching it and watching someone do it well, like is definitely keeps me probably in the Doom camp. Even it's funny, like it was funny, although when Mitch said about the vistas and stuff, and it's like it just made me think of like Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, like games with a singular color palette of like Fallout 3 is green, dirty green.
Shout out of the Maker Homeworld and Doom Eternal. Everybody's talking about hellscapes, but Maker Homeworld, dude, the place is cool,
gorgeous.
It's like technological heaven, dude.
Nice.
I think you all need to play Doom Eternal again and look at some of those arenas or like vistas that they have.
Yeah, I've only played 2016, so yeah, but I'm gonna go with Doom for this one.
Yeah, fair enough.
Thank you.
While Jonah's recovering from speaking to his wife real quick, Wes, does Wolfenstein New Colossus have anything like the giant corpse of like a hell behemoth like being impaled by like a decommissioned, destroyed gigantic like earth mech with like a giant laser sword, just like in
sort
the
of.
distance, and you can
Sort of. Yeah. I mean, it's not like there's not like a gigantic demons, but they're like huge panzerhounds that you have to take out. They're the size of like 2-story buildings and gigantic robots that you have to take on, in the game and other stuff like that. So I mean, there's definitely the game's definitely got its fair. You have to systematically take down like an airship, like a flying fortress.
Nice.
That's lifting you off of the ground in a farmhouse.
And the question like that I have about like the new Colossus, so like do you have a grab mechanic and do you have to call like your horse and stuff like if you fall off of the Colossus like as you're climbing it, or like
dude, you just screwed my mind so hard. I thought you were being dead serious. All right, Jonas, we've derailed you enough. Sorry.
All right.
Very nice, Steven.
I was so confused where I was like, horse? What are you talking about? All right. So my point is gonna have to go to Wes. Like he brought up the point of the variation in gameplay. As you guys know, I'm a big story guy when it comes to games. I like having good gameplay and good narrative, and I feel like Wolfenstein definitely has that. But I think the main thing that sold me on Wes's debate was in his rebuttal when he said Eternal kind of takes a step back from having that fast pace. You're just using everything all the time, and then you do the chainsaw to get the reload. But you have to take it. You have to take it back and use specific weapons on specific enemies. You kind of have that a little bit in Wolfenstein, I guess, but I mean, do you get to throw an axe through a Nazi's head in Doom?
This is inspired. We need to have a rematch where it's like, does BJ Blazkowicz hate Nazis more than Doom Guy hates demons? You know, like
maybe that'll be the return debate on this.
yeah.
Can I just share something really quickly? And I didn't put this in the debate, but since we're talking about it, I feel this is important just to say. So, the worst game in the Wolfenstein series is clearly Youngblood.
Yeah.
They tried to do some different things with it. I appreciate that, but let's face it, the game was not great. But that game means a lot to me personally because it's the first game that I ever played with anybody from the Great Game Debate before we were even the Great Game Debate. Jonah hit me up and we went through that whole thing together
in 1 week,
and
right?
we had
and you didn't enjoy
in 1
it.
week. No, we had a really great time, and it kind of solidified our friendship in a lot of ways. And I feel like that time that we had kind of like led to the kind of partially the formation of everything that we are today.
Absolutely.
So you're saying that the host is compromised.
Yeah, right. It's like we're biased against you, Mitch.
I didn't even bring it up. I didn't bring it up in the debate. I'm just saying, like, that's part of the reason why the series means so much to me, and part of the reason why I love it so much too.
I wholeheartedly agree with Wes. Youngblood is not a great game at all. Steven, since you like speedruns, Brian Otto has a fantastic co-op speedrun of Youngblood. That game is really fun to watch speedrun. But yeah, I think Youngblood is probably the weakest in the reboot of the Wolfenstein series.
You remember that last boss, Jonah? You remember how many times we had to retry? How many times we died on that terrible last boss?
They've got like leveling in that game, but it doesn't really matter. It's weird.
Yeah, because the enemies level up with you.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Anyway, I forgot to check. So, Caden, while I pass it over to you, could you take a look at the results of last week's debate?
Yes, sir. So last week was a debate between the admins and mods of this Discord. We had myself and Steven here representing Couch Co-op versus Sal and Hunter representing online multiplayer. And it's literally tied right now. So, Mitchell, how about you be a tiebreaker? Couch Co-op or online multiplayer?
Ooh.
I guess it'd be more local multiplayer versus
co-op,
online.
Yeah.
So it's couch co-op versus local multiplayer, or
online.
Online versus local.
Yeah.
Oh.
Which do you prefer?
I gotta go with, even though it's something that I do less of, I gotta go with couch co-op.
Oh, Steven and
give me the
Caden.
Which way am I going?
You gotta go the other way.
Oh man, I had so much fun listening to you guys do that debate while I was on my vacation. Oh, it was so good.
It's impassioned. And
it was.
It had a hilarious derail by Sal about his Forza experience and deleting Forza, even though he was pro online gaming.
I just loved listening to the anecdote about Jonah getting yelled at by his wife at 4 a.m. or whatever.
I've been there. Cool. Well, fantastic debate. You guys both did awesome. Looking forward to see what the community thinks in the poll, and we're gonna take our break. All right, we're back from break, and as always, just a little disclaimer: we all pretty much love, respect both those games. No hard feelings. Trolls don't come at us. Wolfenstein and Doom are awesome. And with that, we'll just roll right into our next segment, the pitch, wherein a few of the panelists will have 2 minutes each to pitch a game they've been playing, and the rest of the panelists will decide if they're buying the game or not. Jonah, just to show Mitchell how it's done, I'll nominate you first to step up to the pitcher's mound.
Sounds like a
You
plan.
have 2 minutes. 3, 2, 1, go.
First off, I want to give the Draft Bunks a huge shout out for getting me into this game. Secondly, if you're curious about this game, don't have to worry about buying it because it's free to play. Secondly, it's just a super fun, or thirdly, thank you. Thirdly, it's an incredible like online PvP first person shooter, and the game I'm bringing
game is
is Valorant. I was getting there, Wes. I was getting there. I gotta get the build up.
The sauce.
I've been playing Valorant, and you know what? This game's super fun. It's got the gameplay structure of something like CS:GO, and if you guys like first-person shooters, it's super fun to play. But the curveball in this is the people you're playing as have an actual personality, and they have their own abilities, somewhat like Overwatch. And so, while I've been playing this mostly online with a nice group of people, hence the Draft Punks guys, playing online hasn't, like, you don't get a lot of that toxicity that you'd see from something like League or CS:GO. And I've just been having a blast playing with the
30
tight
seconds.
shooting mechanics and the super fun variety in abilities and characters. The gun skins are really cool. This game does have microtransactions, but I mean, they do a lot more with their skins rather than it just being like a green
10
gun
seconds.
or a blue gun. You get something that's like a DJ gun, and when you inspect it, it makes cool sounds.
Time. All right, Jonah. Why should I play Valorant instead of CS:GO or Overwatch?
It's natively free, so I mean, like, you just
I mean, it's a good enough reason for me, to be
you,
honest.
you just have to download it. But I mean, like, you get the best of both worlds, honestly. You get the nice tight shooting of Counter-Strike, and you don't have to worry about like the different guns and competing. You more have to worry about like the different abilities of the other team, and
Sure.
the team synergy and stuff.
So I know surprisingly little about this game. It sort of was in the spotlight for a little bit, but I haven't heard many
Is
follow-up
it fully released now?
conversations.
Yeah,
I know
it's
it was like in beta. Okay.
it's
Cool.
fully out. Yeah.
So what are there multiple game modes, or is it just one? Is it 6v6, or what's the game mode?
So it's 5v5. They have different game modes. There's like just a main game mode where it's like you die, you're out.
Team deathmatch, or yeah.
Kinda, you have to there's attackers and defenders, and the attackers have to take the spike, which is essentially the bomb, and you got to go plant it. It gives like an objective for the attackers to do, and the defenders basically just have to completely wipe out the team, or if they do plant the spike, you have to defuse it before it explodes. And you can win a match if you're attacking. Say your entire team gets wiped out, but you were able to hold off the defenders long enough. If that bomb explodes, you win, even if your entire team gets taken out. So
Yeah.
there's
So
that.
it's CS:GO with superpowers.
Exactly, it's CS:GO with superpowers.
And talking about the monetization, is it just skins, or are people buying new powers as well? How
I
like
purchase an NFT.
So
like, do you feel at a disadvantage if you're not paying?
No. Like, you can obviously spend money to unlock some of the locked characters sooner. But I mean, I played like 5 matches, and they gave me my first like free unlock pretty quick, and so I got to pick the most recent character, which is Neon, and she's super cool. She's like lights up and glows blue and stuff, and uh uh she shoots, her ult is to shoot like lightning out of her fingers, and the Draft Punks guys were calling it Lord Palpatine fingering. So there's that, but she's super fast. She can zip around the map a lot faster than other characters and stuff, and so that's kind of become my new main.
So, do the characters have like a bespoke kind of gun, like in Overwatch, or like can you like outfit your character with different guns, even though they have like their own like powers, or like how does that work?
So when it comes to the different characters, the only thing that's unique about them is their powers. Everyone has the same guns that they can
Cool,
pick. So
cool.
it's
That's
like,
interesting mix up.
yeah, it's like Counter-Strike, where at the beginning of each round you earn money throughout the round, and
Mhm.
you go into a buy menu and you can pick essentially the same guns. They're called different. They're different guns called
I
different
thought you were being
things.
like kind of facetious a little. You said CS:GO with
No,
Overwatch, but like it's literally CS:GO and Overwatch.
literally
Yeah.
CS:GO and Overwatch.
Yeah.
Probably the only other thing I would ask is like, so I'm guessing it's easy to team up with 5 mates, like to
Mhm.
party up. Can you team up with 10 and do a 2v, and play in
5v5?
like a private lobby?
Yeah, so we
Yeah.
last night actually we were in we had 12 people on the Draft Punks we had 12 people on the Draft Punks voice chat, and we split the teams into 5v5, and then I believe Travis and Rob were casting on their Twitch channel, so they were casting the
Nice.
matches. And you know what, the first game we played, I was like in the zone. I was doing really well. It was super fun. Second game, not so much. If you'd like to watch me suck, it's on their it's archived on the Draft Punks Twitch channel.
Sounds great. Any more questions, guys? Are we ready to decide?
I just have one general question. This is the make or break for me, Jonah.
Okay.
So I don't play online multiplayer
Yeah.
pretty much ever. So I just, generally I tend to, be a little uncomfortable about it. And let's say that I don't have 5 people to jump on with, or a group of people I know. Like, why would I play this game? Like, what is fun about it? Sell me as somebody that doesn't play multiplayer shooters all the time. Like, why should I have any interest?
I like, okay, so my main thing with this is it's free, so there's like not really a barrier to entry, but I understand a big issue you have with like online multiplayer is having to deal with people heckling you and whatnot. You can go into this game, Mike's, like, obviously there's going to be an advantage if you're on mic communicating with people, but if you don't, they have a ping system, so you can ping where an enemy's at or where you're going. You
Smart.
can kind of play more in the background and support your team from the back, and let the random people that you're playing with kind of take charge. You can kind of decide where you want to play. Honestly, communication's gonna be better, but like, that's the nice thing about us having our Discord channel and Draft Punks having their Discord channels, is it's easy to find people to play this game with, and there's a lot of people on both of our Discords that really do love this game and do play it. So, I mean, if you're curious, hop in probably tonight and come play some Valorant with us.
One more question. PC only?
Yes.
Wow.
But it does have controller support, so if you are more comfortable with playing shooters with controller, it does have controller support. I know Zach Pearson plays that way.
Very cool. All right. Wes, I mean, Jonas said it was free. He mentioned it was free. He let us know it was free. Are you picking this game up, or?
I very much appreciate the points that you laid down.
Oh, Wes, it's free, by the way.
Yeah, so I definitely I don't need to buy the game, I understand. But this just doesn't sound like the kind of game that appeals to me personally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough.
The fact also that it's on PC, I have a gaming laptop, which is fine. I'm sure it'll run it fine. But I don't really do, if I'm trying to play controller against people who are, mouse and keyboard, I feel like that really put me at a disadvantage, probably in a lot of ways. And it's just not my kind of game. So I really appreciate the fact that you guys are having such a great time with it.
Yeah.
And I might go back and watch that Twitch archive of your time last night, because I want to see you, how on point you were, and then you it sounded like a pretty good time when you
Yeah.
took a nosedive.
Yeah.
That'll be pretty fun. So I might offer a little of my time on the on
Okay.
your archive.
Alrighty. Steven, what do you think? Picking up Valorant?
I do not have a gaming PC, so that is a big old no from me.
One more point that I will throw out there is this game, like on the development side, the biggest thing they focused on was optimizing this game to play on the most garbage of PCs. So if you've got an internet connection, you could probably play this game on low settings.
Sure.
Get that tablet out, Steven.
Yeah.
What do you think, Mitchell? Are you picking up Valorant?
Oh, I've already played Valorant. I'm not a big fan.
Alrighty.
Sorry.
Oh,
No, it's all good.
My days playing Counter-Strike and Counter-Strike like games are far behind me.
Yeah.
I'm not good at them anymore.
All right, let's see if I can pull you in, Caden. Come on, play some Valorant with me, please. I'm reeling.
In general, I'm kind of in the both the OSs where I just cannot dedicate the time to get good at these games, and you get thrown in with people who are better than you, and randos that yell at you and are mean to you. But the fact that it's free and I have access to at least 2 communities that I could just group up with, I think I might jump in on this one. I've been playing a little bit more multiplayer with a buddy of mine. We were playing Deep Rock Galactic recently, and
Okay.
I'm getting that multiplayer first person zone, so maybe I'll check it out. I mean, it sounds cool. Shout out to Preston Wilkie on I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I think it was the Spelunkers he was on.
Preston is level 0.
Oh, I know, but I think he guested on the
okay.
Spelunkers
Okay.
Games of 2021 thing, and he was talking about Valorant big time.
Yeah.
So
We were playing with Preston last night, actually.
So you got 1 out of 4, Jonah.
I'll take it.
Let's go.
I'll take it.
Any win is a win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cool. So Mitchell, you're next up. I'm gonna give you a countdown for your 2-minute pitch. Dang it. Clock's not. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
So the game I wanted to talk to you all about, and I want to talk to the world about this game, because I feel like not a lot of people know that this game even exists, and it's a game that I was really impressed by. It's called Elec Head. It's a 2D puzzle platformer by a single Japanese developer. God, I don't have his name in front of me right now, but anyway, it is basically one of the most clever puzzle platformers I've ever played, in terms of its level design, in terms of its main puzzle hook that it has. Braid has the time rewind mechanic, Swapper has the clone mechanic. In Elec Head, the mechanic is basically that you are an electrically charged little dude that can throw your head, and you basically anything that you step on becomes electrically charged and can power different things. So a very simple example would be, let's say there is a elevator platform that's connected to a piece of floor, and if you step on the piece of floor that the screws of the elevator are attached to, it will power the elevator, and the elevator will rise up. You can jump on the elevator and jump to the other side. But it takes that very simple concept and just it stretches it so far in just really, really clever ways. And it's never overwhelming. It's never too technically It never has like a really high technical level of like platforming precision like Celeste might have. So it's just a very chill game. There's multiple endings. There's a ton of collectibles to find, and it's like $10, and it's like a 4-hour experience. Just a nice little snack.
Time. Perfect,
Snack of
you
a
just
game.
dropped all the things that I love to hear right at the end, like 4-hour experience, chill time.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
The
I don't
thing I
know
want to
what.
go into on is about the puzzle part of it, and like my favorite thing about puzzle games, like I'm a massive Zelda fan, is like obviously, does it make you feel smart or does it make you feel dumb?
No, I think it does make you feel really smart. The puzzles are always really clever, and it introduces you to like the concepts that you need to know pretty early in a really smart way, but then it twists them so that you're not just like repeating something that was already taught to you. You're using your knowledge and applying it in a way that makes sense. And I think those are always like the aha moments that really get me in puzzle platformers. And Elec Head, I think, is full of them.
And the developer is Nama Takahashi.
Yes.
That's
I was
funny.
just
It's
about
not
to.
like a development studio. It's literally just their name. Like,
Yeah, I
Got
mean, there
me.
might be people that also worked like on it a little bit, but I think this is predominantly a single developer who worked on this game.
Talk to me about aesthetic. What does this game look like? Is it like a pixel art game, or is it more like a 2.5D type thing? How's the color palette?
Purely pixel art. The color palette is interesting because that's one of the collectibles. You can actually unlock new color palettes, so you can make it look like a Game Boy game. You can make it look like a a Game Boy Color game. The default is kind of yellow when things are electrically charged and blue when they're not. And then there's like a black background because it kind of takes place in like a spacey kind of world, and it's a continuous adventure. It's not like level based. There's like little there are like transporters that you can use to transport back to like area 1, and then you find the next transporter takes you back to area 2, and everything is interconnected, even though it is kind of moving through like a almost a level based structure, but it's still all one interconnected world.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, looking at the art, it looks like it's 8-bit inspired, but some of the sprite work has much more detail than
sure.
8. Yeah.
And how's the platforming feel? Is it pretty floaty, or is it feel like pretty?
Yeah, it's a little floaty. I would say it's appropriately floaty. It never feels like awkward. I think the jumping feels right for the kind of game that it is.
Will you
Sorry,
go
Kane, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Will you go into this head throwing mechanic? I'm curious about it.
Yeah. Yeah, so the only thing that is electrically charged about you actually head. So this is an ability you get about maybe like a fourth of the way through the game. You can throw your head, you can throw it up, you can throw it straight across. You can't throw it in any other direction. So basically what happens is that you throw your head, and it kind of stays in the air for a little bit, and then it drops. And whatever your head drops on will be electrically charged, but you yourself, the body that you control, are now no longer electrically charged. So you do not activate platforms when you are missing your head. So you'll have to do a lot of things where, like, you throw your head on a thing, activate a platform that comes across, and then you'll have to jump on that platform. But like the key thing that you need to know is that you only have 10 seconds that you're allowed to be without your head. You have to pick it back up. Or otherwise you explode.
Okay.
What's the checkpointing system in the game? Is it like single rooms like Super Meat Boy or something, or is it continuous and you have to go back to a save? Or
the checkpoints are little things that you can run across with a little C on it. And what's interesting about them, and this kind of comes into the puzzles later on, is that when you activate a checkpoint, it resets the state of everything back to when you first hit that checkpoint.
Cool.
And you hear like the interesting thing is that you do not activate the checkpoint if you jump over it, or if you're not powered when you run over it.
Oh wow!
So just like everything else in the world, it needs to be powered by your head. So yeah, so again, like there are some really clever moments where sometimes you have to make use of that resetting mechanic of the checkpoint in order to get through a certain puzzle.
Gotcha.
That's very cool. I love when games like take just a mechanic that's for granted, that's just supposed to be something in the background, but it's like, part of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
It's
can be very meta.
as someone that isn't the best at like Shovel Knight, I still think that's the greatest idea of a checkpoint ever. It's like
yeah.
just
Yeah.
destroy
So
it,
good.
destroy it for money or keep it for safety. Like that's such a great idea.
I love it so much. It's like one of my favorite checkpoint mechanics ever.
Yeah.
Can you cling onto walls Mega Man X style in this game?
You can slide down walls, and again, this is that
Okay.
you do have to use, because when you're hugging a wall and you're sliding down, you can't jump off of it, but you are activating that wall that you are touching. So sometimes you'll have to use that to slowly go down a wall and have something else activate. So yes, you can cling to walls, but you cannot jump off.
Philosophical question. Do you
Ooh.
think you're the head or the body?
Oh, interesting. Because you can only control your body,
Right?
but the head
the
is
head
where
just a battery
the
for the
consciousness
body?
is. What an interesting quandary. I don't know.
I see this game as a bundle with the soundtrack. That makes me think that they're pretty confident in sound. Is this got like a banger soundtrack?
Yeah, it's got a really good soundtrack. Obviously
Okay.
it's very chill. But there are certain moments where it picks up, and yeah, those are some really wonderful moments in the game. But in general, it's kind of subdued, but ramps up in certain points.
Yeah. You guys have any other questions?
Just a question on platform. Is it just Steam at the moment, or?
Yes, I believe it is only Steam at the moment. Probably needs more people to buy it so that they can port it to more platforms.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just jump in first here. Basically, after the 2-minute pitch, I heard everything I needed to hear. I went on
For
Steam on
sure.
my phone and already bought the game. So you got me.
Alright, got one.
It's just right up my alley. This game looks awesome. I just even love like the cuteness of it being called Elec Head, and your character just has an electrical head. It's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think,
Well,
Steven?
I would love to, but I'm waiting on that Switch port, baby. So
Yeah, it looks
This
like
support
be a
this
really cool
game.
Switch game.
Everyone out there with a PC, support this game.
Yeah.
well, I guess I bought it since Caden
Because
bought
I
it.
bought it. And we
and,
share Steam libraries.
So I guess I'll be checking it out.
Hilarious. What do you think, Wes?
I will be buying it right after this show's over.
It's
There you go.
$10.
Got me,
Nice.
kind of like
Late on
you.
sale
Yeah,
even.
that was
Yeah.
a hell of a pitch. That you
Oh,
said everything that I wanted to hear. This sounds exactly like the kind of game that I would enjoy. So
Yeah, it's crazy
I
the
definitely
state
wanna
of
check it
gaming's
out.
in right now that there's just these gems, like literal hidden gems out there. Because just so many games are coming out all the time. Literally never even heard of this game, and it just looks really fun. So
yeah, thanks for bringing it to our attention.
Mm-hmm.
of course.
Yeah.
Good question. How did it come to your attention? Was it just one of those things that
Ah.
came on the emails and you just happened to click on it, or?
So I think Jonathan Blow tweeted about it, when it first came out, and I was like, oh, well, it looks cool. But I didn't really look too much into it. And then another developer who I follow, who I actually worked with, I didn't even talk about this in my little interview thing, but I did a little stint in video game PR. I worked for Stride PR, and one of
Oh, okay.
the video game developers that I worked with was Witchbeam, who just recently put out a game called Unpacking.
Oh,
If you're
okay.
familiar with that.
I want to play that game. Oh.
Prior to that, they did a game called Assault Android Cactus, which is what I did PR for. But the developer of Assault Android Cactus, and who also worked on Unpacking, tweeted about this game and was like just raving about it. Like, why is no one talking about it? Yeah, this game is like incredible. And so after seeing that, and then also putting in my mind to like the Jonathan Blow tweet that I saw a while ago, I was like, okay, yeah, let's check this game out. And yeah, it was just such a delightful game to jump into.
All right, sweet. Well, nice work on the pitch, everyone. I'll turn things over to our game master, Wes Bates, for the game.
All right. So we haven't done this one in a while. I thought it would be fun to bring it back. We're gonna do some back of the box trivia. So just just to kind of go over the rules again really quickly. I have 10 video game, like the back of video game boxes. I'm going to read the description on the back of the box. I'm going to omit certain words as I read it. That will obviously give it away immediately. And you guys have to try to decipher which video game box I am reading. You each get one guess. Whoever guesses correctly first gets the point. If you guess incorrectly, you're out for the rest of the round until the next box. So
do we shout it out? Or do we raise our hand? Or
I'm not looking at the screen. I can't see you guys. So shout out your name if you want to make a guess.
Okay.
Will you not recognize my voice or something? Would that be like hard for you?
Yeah, your voice is completely undistinguishable, Steven. I'm sorry. Okay, any questions?
No, sir.
All right, well, let's get started then. The first one. Okay, blanks, let's get even. When the evil blank queen kidnaps both your best buddies and the best looking girl this side of the Mazillion star cluster, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to cry? Are you going to hide? Are you going to call the star cops? No way, because you're a blank. And blanks don't cry, hide, or call for help. Blanks get real mad, then they get even. So strap on your blaster, power up the blankster, and get on down to the Blank Queen's planet. But watch out, Blank. This lady's bad. She's got a whole mess of really nasty surprises lined up for you.
Oh my god.
Like
Mitchell. Oh, am I allowed to guess yet?
Yeah.
Yes, you are. At any point.
Battletoads?
It's Battletoads.
Oh!
Oh,
Nice.
That's got to be like
I
the
was
most
thinking, like-
legendary guess so far. Like I
I was
no
thinking like
idea.
space, and I'm thinking Contra-ish,
Yeah,
sounding like
Duke
mixed with
Nukem,
mixed with like two bad dudes or whatever those beat 'em up
Yeah.
games were. And all that sort of
What
stuff.
is the blank? Is it like Toad or something? Like
Yeah, it's Toad. Yeah.
What,
Nice.
what did
Or
they
battle, or the word
what did they
Battletoad.
strap? What did they strap on? You said
It says blaster.
blast.
Do they
Jesus,
even use
Steven.
blasters? I
Don't
don't
ask
remember the
me. I just,
Battletoads ever
read,
using blasters.
I just read in the back of this box. So I only read about half of it. It keeps going.
Wow.
It's a very lengthy box by comparison to some of these others. All right, let's do the next one. A blank's vengeance runs not only through his blood, but through his soul. That's a quote. This time, it's personal. Blank, the deadly and feared blank assassin, is out for blood.
Shinobi or Tenchu or something.
You have to call out your name if you want to make a guess. Is out for blood after his clan is massacred by the evil Blank Empire, vowing to seek revenge on those that wronged him. Blank sets off.
Steven, Tenchu 2? I don't know any of the names of the Tenchu games or Shinobi
It's not
games.
Tenchu.
Okay.
Blank sets off on an action-packed adventure with the lines
Jonah.
between good and evil. Yes.
Is this Sekiro?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's a sequel.
But the lines between good and evil are blurred, and all that he believes in will be tested. Possess the fury of Blank as you destroy your opponents using lethal blank weapons. Cunning skill and amazing acrobatic moves. Your mission to annihilate your enemies, ultimately defeating the powerful Blank Empire. Unleash your inner Blank.
Caden?
Man.
Yes, go ahead.
I'm gonna say a 2 here because apparently, according to Steven, it's a sequel, and I missed whatever gave that away. So I'm just saying
If it
Ninja
is-
Gaiden 2.
What did you say?
Ninja Gaiden 2.
It's not.
Gaiden?
Mitchell,
It's not. It's not
Yeah,
Ninja
I
Gaiden.
gave it to
It's not
Mitchell, I
Ninja
gave it to
Gaiden
Mitchell.
2.
Wow.
Is it Ninja
Mitchell.
Gaiden?
It's Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah.
Oh, really? For some reason, it sounded like a sequel at the start.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I should clarify it. You have to be specific on which game it is. In
Right.
the series. So, very close, Caden. Very close. Great guess.
Thank you.
All right, here we go. The king of the blank arcades comes to the Super NES. Don't wait in endless arcade lines to play blank. Blank comes to the Super NES with action, graphics, and sound that annihilate all other combat games.
Jesus.
Blank,
Combat
blank,
games.
blank, blank, and all your favorite warriors.
Yes,
Contest-
Steven.
Yes,
I want to say Ninja Turtles, but I'm going to say Street Fighter 2.
not Street Fighter 2.
Oh!
All your favorite warriors contend in the Ultra Tech Key Tournament. Each combatant
Mitchell.
engages...
Mitchell.
Yeah.
Mitchell. Killer Instinct.
Killer Instinct.
Dang.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice job. All right. Lead them or fall. Recruit legendary warriors to fight by your side as you hunt down agents of chaos and lead the blank.
Chaos.
A blast rips a hole in the sky, unleashing an army of demons from the mysterious realm known as the blank. As the blast's sole survivor, you, and only you, and your team can bring the world back from the brink of destruction.
I feel like I know what this
Discover the open world. Bond with legends. Become the blank.
I'm so confused. Open world. Team
Friends?
Warriors.
Yeah, something like, I guess,
Hole in the sky.
JRPG-ish?
Okay,
Mitchell.
sorry.
Was
the last
it?
thing that
Oh.
the last thing that says fight beside three friends in session-based cooperative multiplayer.
Oh, I think
Mitchell.
I know
Yeah, go ahead,
this.
Mitchell.
You're wrong.
Lost Planet.
Kaden.
Yes,
Dragon Age Inquisition?
you got it.
Whoa! The breach, bro. Demons coming out the breach.
If you hadn't
Nice
have blanked
job.
out the breach, I would still have not have known that.
That's what I was
Like,
waiting
I
for.
finished that game, so I know.
Yeah.
Actually, it's not the breach; it's the fade. Is what it
The
was.
fade. I still wouldn't have known anything.
Well, it's a breach in the fade. Trust me, it's the breach. Play the game.
All right, next one. Become anything. Change everything. You are blank. The blank. The ultimate shapeshifting weapon. With no memory and no mercy, hunt your way to the heart of the conspiracy which created you, making those responsible pay. Deadly shapeshifting action. Transform your limbs into claws, blades,
Mitchell.
hammers. Yep,
I know it.
Gotta be Prototype.
it's
Gotta
prototype.
Yeah.
I was
That
going to
game's
say,
awesome. I love that game.
I love Prototype. I was always Prototype came out at a time where it was like Prototype versus Infamous, and like I love Infamous, but I was in the Prototype camp.
Yeah.
I was going to say Space
Nice.
Station Silicon Valley.
You would be wrong. All right, so far the score is Mitchell with 4, Caden with 1. Mitchell dominating this thing. All right, here we go. Sorry, this one's kind of hard to read. Deep beneath the blank has awakened. A mighty demon horde pours into blank, devouring the souls of men. Called upon by a blank, you go forth to fight the curse, I think is what it says.
Jonah.
Yeah,
Darksiders?
no.
Oh,
Good guess.
damn it.
Unrestricted choice. Design your character starting from class and weaponry all the way down to facial features. Then decide whether to progress with the story or chart your own path through the open world.
What the hell?
Revolutionary online play. Leave hints.
Online.
View the deaths of past players.
Oh,
Or
Okay.
cooperatively. Or
Demon
invade.
Souls?
I'm so.
Demon Souls? What?
It's Demon Souls.
What did it say about demons from hell? What?
I don't
A mighty,
remember this.
it said a mighty demon horde pours into. I said blank. It was Boletaria. Pours into blank.
Okay.
That's accurate. I was like thinking demons from hell, and I was like, who localized this description? Wow, nice one, Steven.
Again, I was thinking of like Ghosts and Goblins or something. Like,
Yeah.
Okay, if Mitchell
Okay,
gets
see how you
1
guys
point,
do on this
he
one.
automatically wins.
All right. 2 lives, 2 fates, 1 legendary journey. Play as Blank, a strong, brutish loner who must work with a tech-savvy partner, Blank, as they traverse a
Oh, Caden.
rough. Yeah.
What is this game called? Journey to the West?
You know what?
Lost
I'm
Odyssey,
gonna-
Journey to
isn't
the
it?
East?
Is that
No,
Happy
no.
Odyssey? What's it called?
That's a fail. I got it wrong. It's based on that, but that's not what it's called.
What is it called? I can't even remember.
Can I?
You-
Can I?
you-
be
yeah,
part
yeah.
of it?
Yeah.
Can I
yeah.
steal it?
Steal it.
Enslaved Odyssey to the West.
That's what
That's
it's
it.
called. I
That's
forgot.
it.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
I deserve that.
I could
Yeah,
I could
though, I like
picture the game.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Shout out to
Yeah,
Andy
you-
Serkis.
Yeah.
You knew what it was. You just
Yeah.
got the name wrong.
That's
All right.
twice I've stolen Caden's
Yeah.
Caden's answer.
Need to let other people go first.
Yeah.
All right. All rise. The only escape from the shocking killing game is murder.
Oh, Mitchell, Danganronpa.
You got it?
Oh,
Wow.
jeez.
Incredible. You're probably the only person that's played it out of all of us.
But
I
at the
played
same
Danganronpa.
at the same
Oh, okay.
time, the man that could have been Manhunts, like
Yeah,
one as
right.
well, like yeah.
All rise is the
Oh, okay.
the giveaway there.
All right, so yeah, Mitchell has officially won the game at this point. I have a few
Just
more.
victory
if you
lap.
wanna-
Just
if you
Yeah,
wanna
victory
go
lap,
through
yeah.
them.
Fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
Let's see how
All
bad
right.
Mitchell can beat us.
The guys of Blank have been very, very naughty. The day after his 21st birthday bash, Blank, sporting the worst.
Conker's Bad Fur Day? Stephen, Conker's Bad Fur Day?
Yes, it's Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Nah,
Steven, you
Dang.
gotta say your name first, dude.
Let me
Yeah.
get like one more sentence on that.
Conker's back for Stevens. Conker's
You want more- if I can read the whole thing for you. I can read the whole thing for you.
Yeah, I've always
Uh,
been curious what the
So the day after his 21st birthday bash, Conker is sporting the worst hangover ever, and he just can't seem to find his way home. Prepare to stagger through randy, raunchy, raucous scenarios crammed full of bad manners, twisted humor, and graphic bodily functions. Unless you're a fan of violence, foul language, and racy innuendo, you'd best steer clear of this one.
that sounds accurate. I can't believe that game got made.
We're getting that early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wild.
Okay. Roar through Blank's world in a race to the death. Race Blank through 24 intense tracks and 7 combat arenas. Pick one of 12 vehicles and customize for maximum performance. Face off.
Even
Go
Twisted
ahead.
Metal Black.
No. Face off against up to 6 racers online in split screen and competitive combat racing. Unlock. Yeah, go ahead.
Jack X Combat Racing?
You got it.
Wow.
What?
Nice.
That game
But it's a death
rules.
match? It's
That
a-
game is so good if you've not played it. It's just like Mario Kart on steroids for big
Really?
boys. Like it's just oh, I love that game.
Nice
Nicely
Mario
done,
Kart
Katie.
slander there.
Right, I gotta at least get on the board.
Yeah.
Give me a good one, Wes.
All right. This is the last one. This is your last chance, Jonah. All right, here we go. Break the cycle. Fight to survive on a hostile, shape-shifting alien planet.
Oh come on.
Steven
Jonah.
Returnal.
Steven got it?
Yeah.
Is
I
there
knew it,
even
but
a
I was
box
trying to
for
get
Returnal? Did they have a physical release? I don't even know.
Yeah. It has a
Oh,
physical
wow.
release.
Sony
Yep.
exclusive. Yeah. That's what I've been kind
Nice
of thinking
job.
about this whole time. It's like I can't even remember the last time I saw like a new
No,
box, you know?
PayPal, go away.
All right, so the final score, Mitchell with 6,
Dang
Steven
it.
with 3, Caden with 2.
So cleaned
Sorry,
up.
Jonah.
No, it's all good. I just got
That's
2
fun.
emails that popped up, so that's cool. I'm glad that happened.
All right. Well, thanks again so much, Wes, for putting those games together. It's a lot of fun. We appreciate the effort you put into that. But yeah,
You got it.
that'll do it for the show, guys. We'll go around for our final thoughts. So I'll throw it to Jonah first, just in case he has any housekeeping. Final thoughts, Jonah.
Mitch, thank you. It was awesome to have you. That debate was insane, dude. I loved it. Housekeeping. We've got I think when this show comes out, we'll have 1 week till the game club. So if you guys want to play Halo Infinite, join us on Sunday, February 6th. And are we doing it early, Wes? We're gonna be doing it.
Yeah, I think we're
Yeah.
gonna try and shoot for 12 p.m. Pacific
Okay.
to have the game club this time instead of our regular 2 p.m. Pacific.
Yeah. So 12 p.m. Pacific. Join us. We'll be hanging out, talking about Halo Infinite, do a deep dive on it, and if you join, you enter in a chance to win something Halo related. We were looking at plushies after the last recording, and there's nothing
terrible.
good. They're awful. They're
They're
all
gross,
awful. So, and yeah, that's all I got.
All right, cool. Mitchell, final thoughts. Anything that's on your mind at all? Anything you want to plug? Just anything?
I'd just
You're
like
thinking
to
about.
apologize to all the Doom Eternal fans and 2016 fans that I let down.
You didn't let anybody down.
But yeah, I want to be clear. I love Wolfenstein, man. One of my favorite, modern reimaginings of an old series to
Definitely.
date. And yeah, it was an honor to be here. I really appreciate the invite, and I love what you guys are doing. This was a blast.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wes, final thoughts.
I just want to reiterate also, thank you, Mitchell, for coming on. It's a real privilege. I love what you do online at IGN. I think you're one of the most talented people that they have over there. I love your writing and what you do, as Caden alluded to earlier. But it was a real thrill having you here, and it's my honor to debate you in our Doom versus Wolfenstein debate. I also like Doom. I played through Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal. I like those games a lot. So it's just fun to throw them up against each other just for funsies. I just want to give another shout out to the Draft Pugs. I've been listening to their 2022 fantasy game draft podcast they put out lately. It was huge. I think they had like 10 people on there drafting games for their fantasy critic thing that they're doing, and man, that is just a great time. If you're looking for another show outside of this one to listen to, go check out their recent fantasy critic draft podcast. It's a lot of fun.
Shout out. All right, Steven, final thoughts.
We don't usually talk news on here, but I just want to say, like, with the Microsoft acquisition, like in the future, if Toys for Bob can make Banjo 3,
Yeah.
please do.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be interesting,
just-
actually.
Yeah, just echoing that, I'm so glad that
Mm.
Toys for Bob has the opportunity to be pulled out from under the yoke of Call of Duty.
Oh.
My final thoughts are I've been playing a demo for a mod for Dark Souls 1 called Nightfall. And keep your eye on that one if you're a Dark Souls fan and you have Dark Souls 1. It's fast paced, shields are crap. It has HP regen from attacking enemies like Bloodborne, and you get a cool, like, super fast blink dash, like Dishonored style. It's just love it. There's a time loop mechanic because time loops are so hot right now. But yeah, my name's Kaden Bertha Lane. I've been your host. Thank you for listening, and as always, happy gaming. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Elden
Bye.
Ring.
Elden Ring.
As always, a big thank you to our friend Misdriven for the music in our podcast. If you like what you hear and you want to check out more of what they have, you can pay them a visit on Twitter at MISTRIVEN719 or on Bandcamp at Misdriven. Thanks again for tuning in. Till next time.